Manufacturing, an infant industry in Botswana that, if nurtured and expanded well, has the potential to help diversify the country's economy and have her well on her way to self-sustenance. The country's import bill for items not produced in this country accounts for well over 6 billion pula. Wanting to tap into this market share is Mrs. Keneilwe Kuli, Managing Director at Prezlin Clothing, a manufacturer and supplier of safety solutions in the form of safety and protective wear. The company was started in 2017 by Mrs. Kuli, who at the time had recently quit her job as marketing coordinator at one of the local hotels in Gaborone. When starting operations, the company only had 3 employees, a number that grew exponentially over the last 7 odd years. The company now supplies mines, large-scale farms and government departments with protective clothing. With dreams as big as the universe itself, Mrs. Kuli hopes the company will grow big enough to be the largest supplier of PPE clothing in the country and be revered around the world. In true First Issues fashion, we made our way to Palape, where the business is based, to dialogue with her about the business and what her vision for it is.
My name is Keneilwe Kuli, the Managing Director for Prezlin Clothing. Prezlin Clothing has been, it was founded in 2009, but it has been a dream that has always been there within me. I remember when I was completing my Form 5, I came one day to my mother. I was saying, I want to get a loan from SIDA, I want to do a hotel. I think by that time she was like, are you crazy? But that is where I came from. And when I was still young, we used to sell ice pops. And 2009, that is when I went to tertiary. I was running a tuck shop in Block 5. If you know Block 5, there was no shops there by the time. And I found an opportunity, and that is where Prezlin now started to show. I registered a company called Prezlin in 2009. Then that time I was just trying to find my feet, what can I do, how can I do it? And later on, 4 years later, that is when now this establishment was founded. I started doing the manufacturing of protective clothing.
While her business endeavor could have been in anything, she decided that manufacturing safety wear would offer her the market size that she needs to eventually succeed.
PPE came after. There was a seminar that we were called at Keneilwe, if I remember very well. We were called there for youth seminar. We were encouraged that, look, this is Botswana and there's no manufacturing. I think that is when now I started to think, what is it that I can do? I started making my research. I remember I went to Statistics Botswana. I researched and I realized that there's a lot of importation into PPE and footwear. It was over billions. Then I started investing my time in that and finding out the opportunities, and I found there was a huge opportunity into manufacturing of PPE.
With mistrust from potential clients being one of the challenges to being local manufacturers, Mrs. Kuli says she continually improves both their product quality and service delivery.
The challenge is still there. It's not, I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but I'll start by saying there's a lot of education that needs to be made to make the users and the buyers aware of what does it mean to buy local. We still face that challenge, but I've seen myself doing those mistakes, having a bad quality when I was starting. But my motivation was, I have to start it learning. So I have to learn small, I have to learn until, and somebody has to help me to learn, because if they are continuing to buy from us, they're getting to assist us to practice until we get it right. So currently where we are, the challenges are less because we are trying hard to ensure that quality is our number one. We have certified our product so that they can motivate and keep us onto the loop to make sure that our quality is of the data that the users need. Yes.
She added that even though she recognized that she did not have the large financial muscle to start the business, she was able to invest whatever little she had to generate revenue that would later be reinvested back into the business.
I believe in one thing. It's called, I always say, do not despise the days of small beginnings. Start small so that you can be able to make mistakes with small funds that you have. I wasn't funded. I was doing small businesses around before I could do this and before I could bring in the machinery to start up. But later on, when I had funds, that is when now I put my money into reinvesting the money that I had to grow, until later on, maybe 5-6 years later on, that is when I was funded. But I would just encourage everybody to know that you have to start with anything that you have and trust on the process. Just go through the processes, it will help you to grow.
Ultimately, Mrs. Kuli wants to see Prezlin Clothing exporting to the region, encouraging other women that their dreams are valid and that they too can make them come true.
My vision is huge. I really want to make this a dynasty. I want to make sure that I can prove, like other ladies out there, to prove that you can make it. African child, a woman, you can make it. So I'm looking into, my plan is that at least in 2026 we do start export. That is something that we are working towards with BITC. We have started our plans, I think by 2025, end of 2025, we will have started the exporting program business. Yes, I'm looking into Southern Africa so that I can learn around the geographical areas that we are related, so that I don't make a lot of mistakes by going maybe as far as to Europe, where now the standards are very high, on which I'm not used to, and I want to learn around. Zimbabwe, there's a lot of money in Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Africa, although there's a challenge with the currencies, but that is where I want to start. Yes.